a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, thank you much. And who else we got on board? Yeah, Norma was kind of chiming in about going back in the day for those old-time truckers out there, where he said overnight radio was all we had back in the day. Yeah, KOA, KFI, WBAP, blasting after dark till dawn. Yes, sir. And Susie said, when I was a kid, I used to listen to the Herb Jepko nightly nightcap show. I'm not familiar with that one. Don't remember that name. All right, hello to Sylvester there, listening from Terrigal, New South Wales, Australia. Loving the show as I make a homemade tomato sauce for my beautiful wife's dinner. All right, enjoy that. And thanks for being a participant, listener, Sylvester, for many, many years. And hello, good morning, senor.
Good morning, senor, and congratulations. One thing I gotta tell Dingbat. Squish, 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 squish. Okay, there we go. I got that out of the way. I have no idea what Braindead was talking about. All I know is I woke up at the Albuquerque Sunport, a little disheveled with a note pinned to my chest saying, I had a good time. So, like I said, did I have a good time? And then someone gave me the screenshot of Bambi Dovetail. Holy crap. You're right. That song, a 10 at 2 became a 2 at 10. Ooh, my goodness. So, hey, I've been an off and on listener until someone gave me the app on my phone, which I had a phone that could do all had that programming to where I could get it and listen to it all the time on the old heart radio or non-heart radio. And then with you on this format, I've been I think I've been on there about 3 years now as a regular call-in. Just didn't have the courage to call, but, once you call in and realize, this is just a phone call between you and I. But we just got all these other folks listening in on the party line.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anybody who says, oh, I'm scared, I don't know what to say, I might make a fool of myself. Have y'all heard me lately? I mean, goodness gracious. Yeah, I come up with some wild ones, and I come up with some, brain thumpers, and we talk about the events of the day. I had a late start this morning, and I had no idea that Georgia was going to absolutely lambaste Alabama by 15 points. I mean, who would have thunk it? But, congratulations to the Dogs. And shame on Vegas for spitting out the people who are going to be the front runners for next year's title game. I mean, let people have a good time. Let them go ahead and go about their business before you start throwing, odds on the next champion. My goodness gracious, I tell you. But yeah, it's been a blessing to add to my Facebook family. You, a Chevy guy, Moose, Horse Feathers. Eskimo Mom. I mean, there's too many to mention. But I mean, my goodness gracious. I mean, it has opened my world to a lot more people out there who have the same ideas, that I do, and sometimes we may disagree, but all families have a disagreement in there. Of course, there's always that one black sheep we won't talk about, and I'm probably that one black sheep that we're talking about. But Horse Feathers was telling me a joke the other day, and I said, that sounds like something I said. And he said it was. He said it was on your first night show back. And I thought, well, maybe we ought to make this an annual tradition because, you get more and more callers, or more and more listeners, rather, calling in or listening in. And, maybe they hadn't heard this. We'll end up my Taco Tuesday with a little funny here. Old boy from New York City goes out in the country, and he's hunting duck, and he is out there 3 days. And he is having absolutely no luck at all. He's down to his last shot, and his last box of shells. He kept seeing all these miracles of dead ducks flying after he shot them, but he finally nails one at the very end of his third day out there in the marsh. And, of course, with the forward momentum of the duck, he just happened to land up against this farmer's barn. And he's like, my goodness, I got to get that duck. I got to get that duck. That's mine. So he crosses the fence, walks to the barn, and about that time the farmer comes out of the barn, sees him with his shotgun there, and says, what do you think you're doing? And he says, well, I'm duck hunting, and that's my duck that hit against your barn. And I'm just here to retrieve it. And the farmer says, no, that's my duck. And the reason why it's my duck is because it's on my land. Now, if you want to settle this, we can do it the old country way of having a kicking contest.
Mm.
And the city boy's like, I spent all this time out here. Can't we just do it some other way? And he says, nope. We settled it with the kicking contest. So he told him, we go ahead and we rear back and we kick the person as hard as we can. And we keep on going until one person says, that's it. So the city boy decides, you know what? I've spent 3 days out here. This is my only duck. I'm not going to give it up. He says, oh, the farmer. He's getting ready. He figures he's going to get kicked in the shins. Well, the farmer had another target, and he kicked him so hard that poor city boy just doubled up, started hacking. He started gagging. He started just grabbing himself in pain. He wanted to throw up, but he couldn't. It just dry heaves. He's about ready to pass out, but he's still on his feet. By God, he's going to get that duck. After about 10 minutes, he finally got himself brought together. He's still shaking up, and he says, okay, I guess it's my turn to kick you. Farmer looks at him and says, nah, you can keep the duck.
Oh, it was all in good fun. It was funny. All in good fun, though, right?
Yeah, well, maybe next year I'll spice it up a little bit, and I won't be so monotone, but, that's just me. That's just me. Oh, I just got hit with a few messages there. I think Squeaky has given me a heads up about something, so I'll have to let you go. But, yeah, we're here driving by the big old Nugget Casino in Reno, Nevada, heading up to our terminal, and Lord knows where we're going after that, so... But anyways, I'll be on the road tomorrow night. I'll give you another holler. And again, congratulations And Chris, thank you very much for doing what you've done to get this man back on the radio. And all I can say is, Chris, Jack Semas.
Okay, thank you much, Heatwave. Have a good morning. All right, perfect timing there. Right at the bottom of the hour, get a news break, and we'll return with more as we roll on to the late night, early morning hours, about halfway there. For this morning's 1-year anniversary show. Good to have you with us, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy is thinking ahead. In an interview Monday, he told Breitbart if Republicans win the House this November, he'll block Representatives Ilhan Omar, Adam Schiff, Eric Swalwell, and other Democratic lawmakers from serving on committees.
If Eric Swalwell cannot get a security clearance in the private sector, there's no reason why he should be given one to be on Intel or Homeland Security. Ilhan Omar should not be serving on Foreign Affairs.
Russia and the U.S. tried to talk it out, but the two remained far apart after discussions surrounding diffusing tensions at the Ukraine border idled. Moscow keeps insisting on guarantees to halt NATO's eastward expansion and even roll back the military's alliance deployments in Eastern Europe. Washington is firmly rejecting the demands as a non-starter. You're listening to USA Radio News.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more.
800-844-1675. 800-844-1675. 800-844-1675. That's 800-844-1675.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Drivers, you demand that your equipment's reliable and dependable, and that also applies to your headset for communication. Well, our friends at Stellar Electronic have you covered. The Pluto Duo headset bundle is the best communication headset you can find in the industry. No matter the challenging environment you're driving in, the Pluto headset will make you sound crystal clear all the time thanks to their 99% noise cancellation. And the Duo's not only a stereo converter for the headset, but also a power bank so you can charge as you go. Learn more at StellarElectronic.com or visit them on Facebook.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. LaVon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3-quarter or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. As you fire up your diesel, you can see your breath on the inside of a cab. Imagine looking deep into your engine. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. On a 23-degree morning, the paraffin wax in your untreated fuel starts to morph from fluid to large crystals. These crystals clump together and form a gel. At minus 10 degrees, your fuel hits the point where it no longer pours like a liquid. It's so dense that the flow through the fuel filter will slow, causing hard starts or no starts. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Attention all truckers, Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I want to talk to you about those dreaded tax problems. I know you want to keep on trucking and not even think about them. Well, let's face it, they're not going away all on their own. You need professional help. I've been helping truckers put their tax problems in the rearview mirror for years. I can help you too. Call me for a free consultation at 888-632-4506 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. It's like I always say, keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS. 888-632-4506.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. When we put our foam in your walls, it's like putting a coat around your entire home. It keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. We're getting homes ready right now for winter, and we have $1,000 savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net.
Hey, Dad, your prescription will be ready in just a minute. Hey, Dad, your laundry will be ready in just a minute. Dad, your lunch will be ready in just a minute.
Hey, honey, why don't you take a minute?
When you help care for a loved one, you give them as much time as you can, making sure they're safe and comfortable. But it's just as important that you take some time for yourself. At AARP, we can help with information and useful tips on how you can maintain a healthy life balance, care for your own physical and mental well-being, and manage the challenges of caring for a loved one. Because the better care you take of yourself, the better care you can provide for your loved one.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides to support you and your loved one at aarp.org/caregiving. That's aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Summers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, hello to Wheelchair Dave, checking in via email this morning. Steve, congrats on your 1-year anniversary. Besides the 1 year with Chris, thanks for all the years. God bless you, your family. There's many more to come. Listening in, Wheelchair Dave. And he did say the doctor's got his blood pressure back to normal. He is feeling better. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Wheelchair Dave. All right. Blade Runner sent me a link. Bare shelves Biden. People showing the impact of supply chain disruptions in stores. Now, I'll click on the link, but I did have, matter of fact, the story, supply chain backlogs roiling the new home market now, upending the efforts to accelerate construction, limiting home buyers' choices and causing some new owners to move into unfinished homes. Home builders have increased activity in the past year in response to the robust home buying demand and a shortage of homes in existing home market. In many cases, the surge in demand late 2020 and early 21 overwhelmed builders, they say, forcing many to actually halt sales in some markets while they tried to catch up. Now, the industry struggling with its global supply chain woes, pandemic-related factory closures, transportation delays, port capacity limits, which have stymied the flow of many goods and materials that are critical for home building. Things like windows, garage doors, appliances, even paint. Yeah, we saw freezing weather and the power outages in Texas last February. You know, we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of that. You believe that? Which led to a shortage of resin, which is used in many home building products. You know, while supply chain delays for some products showed some signs of easing at the end of last year, builders say it's going to still take weeks longer than normal to finish homes. About 90% of home builders surveyed by the research firm Zonda said that they're experiencing supply disruptions. Yeah, that number was 75% in January of last year. Now, many builders so far have been able to pass increased material costs along to the home buyer, but with home prices higher than ever, the median price of a newly built home rose 18.8% from a year earlier. The median price for a newly built home, $416,900. And many builders are concerned about pricing out potential buyers. What's your monthly payment going to be on that? Right? Scrambling to find new suppliers, stock up on building products, and use substitute materials. Yes, some are actually even scouring some of the retail big box stores for products they can't find through the normal supply chain. Well, that was the case for the builder Epcon Communities in Dublin, Ohio, which bought metal shower grab bars online because they weren't available to the typical commercial suppliers. The company's electrical subcontractor resorted to buying electrical boxes in hardware stores. From one week to the next, the only thing we know is we're going to get notified of something else that's not available. He said they were actually selling homes last year with no gutters or downspouts. They installed those features after the buyers had already moved in. Homes by West Bay out of Florida has started ordering windows 6 months in advance, up from the typical 60 days of lead time. He said the company's homes are at least 30 to 60 days behind their normal schedule. About the time we're getting ready to pave streets in a new subdivision, we're ordering windows for 100 homes. Wow. Many builders are selling houses later in the construction process when they can better predict their cost and their schedule. Plus in the home building industry, timeline is king because there's so many moving parts. I guess the supply chain disruptions are going to continue right on into the new year here. And as we mentioned on Monday morning show, the experts were saying there's probably 5 million people that are calling in sick this week due to the symptoms of the Omicron. More impacts on everything as far as the worker shortage is concerned. All right, back to the phones here. Would that be Squeaky?
Yes, it is.
What's going on, Squeaky?
I just want to congratulate for a year. I'm going to keep it short and simple. But yeah, I'm squeaky for a few days.
So you're squeaky because do you have COVID, or do you think it's just a regular old cold, or
I do not.
You don't know?
I get this every year. When it's warm, cold, back to warm, then cold again. I get this every year.
Like the laryngitis kind of thing. Yeah, my wife used to get that almost every November. She got past it this year some way, but yeah, November.
It's been crazy. I mean, I tested negative for COVID. I'm like, well, we're going to test you for COVID and make sure. I know what it is. Trust me, I know what it is. But they want to make sure. But I just want to congratulate for a year and keep it short and simple.
Very good. Well, I hope you feel better soon there, Squeaky. Get your voice back, all right? Then we can call you Dingbat again.
Right. Thank you so much.
Okay, there you go, Squeaky. I gotta
Have a good one.
Yeah, you do the same. Good luck. All right, our friend Terry from north of the border there in Canada. Yeah, he was holding on last evening. I guess he had business to tend to, had to drop off. But he sends me a link to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is pushing ahead with the vaccine mandate for international truckers, despite increasing pressure from critics who say it's going to exacerbate the driver shortages and drive up the prices of goods imported from the U.S. Canada will require all truckers entering from the U.S. to show proof of vaccination starting Saturday, January the 15th. That is this Saturday, my friends. That could force some 16,000 or maybe nearly 10% of cross-border drivers off the roads, according to the Canadian Trucking Alliance. Ottawa estimates that 5% of drivers will be impacting there, according to a government source. This is the first policy measure taken since the pandemic began that could limit cross-border trucking traffic. Trucks crossed the border freely when the border was closed for 20 months because you were then considered essential to keeping the supply chain flowing. Now, one source says we don't anticipate significant disruptions or shortages for Canadians. Trudeau he's a champion of the strict vaccine policy for civil servants and federally regulated workers. And I guess this fast-spreading Omicron appears to have emboldened his resolve to stick with that policy. Now, numerous industry groups and opposition parties say this is not a good idea, especially at a time when the Bank of Canada is eyeing its first interest rate increase since October of 2018. Now, even though the vast majority of Canadian truckers are vaccinated, those who are not are already starting to quit, according to the CTA's president, adding that the industry is already short some 18,000 drivers. Everyone's been talking about inflation. This is going to continue fueling that inflation. The cost of bringing a truckload of fruit and vegetables from California and Arizona has doubled during the pandemic due to the existing driver shortage. Fresh foods are sensitive to freight problems because obviously they expire very rapidly. Okay. We're going to see prices skyrocket for groceries, for everything. If we see tens of thousands of truckers unemployed, there could be some reasonable accommodations. I mean, can we just go to regular testing rather than the forced vaccination? Okay. With that, we'll get a quick timeout. Philip's on board here. We'll get to Gilligan. Let's see, is that Gary? Check it in this morning. I believe it is. A couple lines available at 844-844-3388. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. We appreciate our truckers and the long hours you're putting in to service all. Without you, we wouldn't even get the materials to insulate. So we want you to feel like a king when you get back. We put our foam in your walls. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. And with the rising energy costs, that's going to save you a bundle. We're getting homes ready for winter right now, and we have $1,000 of savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount just for mentioning this show. So give us a call, 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net. We're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
Diesel fuel cetane levels.
the cetane rating in diesel fuel is 42 to 45. Most diesel engines operate more efficiently with a cetane rating of 48 to 50. One treatment of Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme will raise your cetane 7 points, increase fuel economy, and improve cold starts.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
on down to the Sunshine State is heading into the office somewhere, either with Mickey or Wally World, whatever the case might be. Morning, Philip. How we doing?
Morning, bud. I'm coming into downtown Orlando on my way to Wally World today.
Okay.
Gonna play with Mickey Mouse. Gonna play with Mickey Mouse today and drive the train. Congratulations on your 1 year. I remember back the first time I started listening to you and your dad was back in about 91. I want to say about running there. Used to listen to WSM up until midnight, and then I'd listen to your dad for the rest of the night when I first started listening to y'all. So I appreciate what y'all do. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. How y'all doing tonight? Everything going okay?
Yeah, hanging with them.
Yeah, pretty much here. I'm running the race course right now down here on 4 in Orlando. This is like almost being on a road course at Watkins Glen with all these stupid cones out here and people in the way they're driving. So, but I was talking to. I had an interesting conversation yesterday with Blind Man. He gave me a call, and we were talking about rockets. Next month, there's going to be a launch, a SpaceX launch. It's going to be a super heavy launch. We were talking about it a little bit. If you get a chance, Steve, pay attention to that launch. It's going to be a really cool one. There's only one thing I can't figure out about it. It's one of those top secret launches that for the Space Force, and I can't understand why they're using a fucking heavy rocket for that. If it was just a satellite, it'd be a regular rocket. But this is a Falcon Heavy. This is the biggest rocket that SpaceX has right now that's flying. So keep your eyes on that. And then also Elon Musk is actually on it, except this time they're paying civilians from what I understand. So keep an eye on that too. That's also in February.
Okay.
So I don't know how they're going to do the turnaround on those two rockets, but also SpaceX's Starship fleet out there in Texas. They're just about done with the tower, orbital launch site tower. They got the apparatus that picks up the rocket, puts it on the pad. They got that going the other day. They've got some other things they're testing out. It's looking really good. And they pressure tested underneath the rocket. You have the orbital launch site. It sits on the pad. Got a funny housing that's underneath it that when the rocket lights up, it shoots water in there and it comes out the ends of it. But they pressure tested that the other day, so they're getting close on it. We might see an orbital flight pretty soon of the Starship. So I know they just did a static fire a week ago on it, and that turned out pretty good on number 20. So it's going to be cool when everything gets going. Haven't much heard anymore about that telescope. I guess they've got it going pretty good there.
I know they got the big gold mirror got unfurled over the weekend, and I think that was a critical piece there. I think everything sounds like they're breathing a big sigh of relief there at NASA.
Oh, absolutely. That's a $10 billion $10 billion sigh of relief, and so we better make sure that gets going, because if you look at it, that's a third of what the SLS program gets a year from the government. So they better watch out with that one. If not to change the subject, but did you hear they're going to be raising interest rates this year?
I did indeed see, and I think they're talking maybe 3 or 4 potential hikes this year.
That's what I heard yesterday on the news. I heard that there's a potential that the Fed's going to raise, 4 times this year. They're going to do the interest rates. So that means anybody that's going to be buying a house or car or anything that they need that loan on, even credit cards, all that stuff's going to go up. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And what's going on with Russia and Ukraine and us? Are we backing away from them, or what's going on with that deal?
All I know is I guess they had their little discussion, but I don't think much of anything actually came out of it.
Yeah, it's just a smoke show as usual. So we're kind of like, we're a little bit of a laughing stock right now, if you know what I mean. I wish they'd get off their tail and do something, man. I know it's going to be ugly here pretty soon, but I'm like Sylvester. I'm kind of sitting back and watching it flow, so we'll see how it rolls. So that's all I got to say tonight, bud. Congratulations on the year. Hopefully there's many more to come, and thank you, Chris, for sponsoring Steve and getting the show back going. I know there was a few months there we were wondering what was going on, and everything got going again. So we appreciate it. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Philip, for being a part of the program. It's about 5 before the hour. And what are we looking at? It's 844-844-3388. Let's try Gilligan. Hello, Gilligan. What's happening?
Not much. Just driving up 81. Ain't crazy, come.
There you go.
Happy anniversary, Steve. Happy anniversary, Steve. And I'm sure glad they got you back on the air. I've been a regular listener between you and your dad for about 22 years now, going on 23 years. And it's a great format. I love the way this is set up. I can go back, like on Monday mornings. I'm not working. I've already listened to half of Monday's morning show. I can catch up on what I missed. Now, I don't know whether you covered the story I sent you earlier. Did you cover that guy that was driving down the road in Texas with a lit barbecue in the back and he was drunk?
I know you sent me the story. I've got it here somewhere. Yes, is that a dumbass of the week nominee?
Yeah, I would say that'd be pretty much. He was drunk, intoxicated on top of that. Now if that ain't a DA, what is?
Yep.
Oh, I tell you, it's just, I don't know whether you heard or not. Like I said, I'm still trying to catch up with part of the show. Did you hear the other celebrity that died over the weekend? Besides Bob Saget.
Who was it?
Richard. Wait, it was Dwayne Hickman. Don't recognize the name, do you?
Doesn't ring a bell, no.
Have you ever seen Dobie Gillis? Many loves of Dobie Gillis. About 1959.
I don't know that I have, quite honestly.
Well, okay. He was also on the Mary Tyler Moore show a little bit.
Okay.
But here's what's ironic about that. One of the main characters in that show was a man named Maynard. I've only seen the show like twice. He was what's the word? I had it on the tip of my tongue. The early hippies, the ones with the little goatees and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was played by none other than Bob Denver, a.k.a. Gilligan. And here's what's weird about Dwayne Hickman. He died on what would have been Bob Denver's 87th birthday.
How about that?
Isn't that ironic? Yep. I remember the night after Bob Denver died, and I called in, and your dad introduced me. He says, well, what do you know? Here's a call from beyond the grave. I thought she was dead, Gilligan. Oh, yeah. Well, Steve, like I said, it's great to have you. I'm glad you're out there, and I appreciate you listening to us, especially some of my nonsense. I try to make myself out to be funny, but at times I think I'm only laughing at myself. You take care, and hope to hear you for many more years.
Thank you, Gilligan.
Thanks,
Yep,
Steve.
you do the same. Appreciate you being a part of the program. Be safe out there. You had the headline: Wall Street banks see 4 rate hikes in 2022. Inflation is the wild card. Yep. I guess when they had the Fed chair up there, I guess, questioning, with inflation surging, unemployment falling, wages rising, some economists are warning that the Federal Reserve may have waited too long. You're already so far behind the eight ball, too long to reverse these ultra-low rate policies, which could put the entire economy at a heightened risk. Some of that testimony from this past day. Get more of that coming up as you head up on the midnight hour on the West Coast. Welcome into a Tuesday, 11th day of January, 1/1/1 of 22. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hotshot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio said he will not cooperate with the January 6th commission.
After being removed from the mostly partisan January 6th commission by Democrat Nancy Pelosi, Representative Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, said Sunday he will not cooperate with the January 6th Select Committee. Representative Scott Perry, the Republican from Pennsylvania, last month called the committee illegitimate. From the West Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Governor Gavin Newsom wants to make California the first state to cover all low-income state residents under its Medicaid plan, regardless of their immigration status. The state already covers younger and older low-income residents who are in the country illegally. Newsom wants state lawmakers to pick up the remainder. He also wants to help businesses and residents struggling from his coronavirus mandates. This is USA Radio News.
Well, you've heard me talk about Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and how his pillow's given me a great night's sleep. He continues to roll out new offers on his products. His latest on the towel sets. Now, towels aren't something you think about. I never knew what I was missing till I tried the towels last year. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and trust in Mike Lindell has given you a better night's sleep. Mike's now changing the game with his 6-piece towel set. USA cotton, extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in the towel. 2 bath, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths for a limited time, $39.95 using our promo code USA. It retails for over $100. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the Radio Listeners Square, use this promo code USA to get this price of $39.99 on the towels, or call 1-800-951-8175.
Some medical professionals are pushing back against pandemic statistics. Moving forward, some are arguing COVID-19 tracking must distinguish between those who are in the hospital because of COVID and those who are admitted for other reasons and then test positive. Dr. Ashish Jha with Brown University spoke to Newsmax.
In the hospital right now, I've been seeing patients all week and weekend, seeing a lot of people admitted because of COVID, and I'm seeing a lot of people admitted for other things like hip fracture or other stuff who incidentally happen to have COVID. And all those people are vaccinated and boosted. They just happen to also have been tested positive.
Many schools, like those in Chicago, are closed to in-person learning, but Dr. Jha said all schools should be open. In related news, Pfizer has announced it expects to have a vaccine that targets the Omicron variant as well as other COVID-19 variants ready in March. Omicron has been described as a more contagious but less severe variant. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Bingo fun fact number 6. Americans spend over $90 million weekly on bingo. Why? When you can play Bingo Treasure for free. Go to BingoRadioUSA.com. Play from any device, your smartphone, tablet, or computer. The account is free. The play is free. Play one card. Play more. Chat with other players. Meet new friends. All free at BingoRadioUSA.com. That's BingoRadioUSA.com. Bingo from any device. Hurry. Free accounts are limited.
A student aid lawsuit has been filed in court.
A number of major U.S. universities are being sued for alleged antitrust violations related to the way they work together to determine financial aid rewards for students. A lawsuit filed in Illinois federal court alleges the schools engaged in price fixing and unfairly limiting aid by using shared techniques to figure out applicants' financial need. Schools are allowed to collaborate on their formulas under federal law, but not if they consider an applicant's financial need. The lawsuit is seeking damages and a permanent end to the college's collaboration in figuring out financial need and awarding aid. Some of the 16 universities named in the suit as defendants are Yale, Northwestern, Duke, Notre Dame, and Columbia. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
U.S. doctors have transplanted a pig heart into a patient in a last-ditch effort to save his life. This procedure marks a first for medical science. Doctors at University of Maryland School of Medicine said Monday that 57-year-old David Bennett is doing well 3 days after surgery. The handyman had been too sick to receive a human heart. Prior to going into surgery, Bennett said, quote, "I want to live. I know it's a shot in the dark, but it's my last chance," unquote. For USA Radio News, I'm Katie Lewis.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Diesel particulate filter regeneration.
the DPF catches particulates left over from combustion. The DPF regeneration cycle cleans the filter with temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. A computer sensor triggers the DPF regen, which is often accompanied by a loss of power and fuel economy. The frequency of DPF regens are in correlation to the cleanliness of the fuel burn. Under heavy operation with the dirty burn, DPF regens can occur multiple times per day. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme Fuel Additive promotes a more complete combustion, creating fewer emissions and therefore fewer DPF regens. Vehicles using Diesel Extreme experience 83% less DPF regens.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
All right, seeing as we've crossed over the midnight hour, there on the West Coast, welcome into a Tuesday morning. Start your week's off to a good start. Let's take a look at some of our travelers' weather for some of our friends there in that part of the country. Flooding rain, rounds of mountain snow expected to return to the Pacific Northwest this week. It's not expected to expand across much of the West. Now, late last week, we saw some of the record rains in the Pacific Northwest. Disastrous, deadly flooding. The ground became wet, unstable from rain as some of the snow melted at the lower elevations, causing river levels to rise. Flooding blamed for at least one death after vehicles were swept away in Cosmopolis, Washington, in southwestern portions of the state. Well, after a short weekend break in the action, steady rain and mountain snow return this past day. It's already underway. What little bit of rain and snow there will be across the West will be confined largely to Washington and western Oregon. Rain becomes especially locally heavy this morning, especially in the Olympic Peninsula, the Cascades. The heavy rain then anticipated to return Tuesday night through Wednesday for some of those same areas. So flooding is possible in areas near the coast to the mountains in western Washington. Forecasters are closely watching the Vancouver, British Columbia area for heavy rain forecast to arrive around midweek, which combined with melting snow could cause some flooding issues there as well. Now, unlike some of the recent storms that brought plenty of cold and low snow levels, milder air this week means that the snow levels will be much higher, between 5,000 and 7,000 feet, across the Washington and Oregon Cascades, which will be above the pass levels this time around. But they emphasized the warm-up could lead to an increased risk for avalanches there in the back country. Temperatures will likely rise several degrees above normal from places like Seattle to Portland to Vancouver throughout this week. Temperatures will peak about midweek in Portland. Could see temperatures rising into the middle 50s come Wednesday. All right, heavy snow will fall across southwestern British Columbia. But further to the south, much of the northwestern U.S. Can consider this week maybe an extended break from storms, including Medford, Oregon, Boise, Idaho, Missoula, Montana. Much easier travel across the region for this upcoming week. And some of our travelers' weather for our friends way out in the western portions of the country. And good morning to Gary. Hey there. What's happening, Gary?
Hey, good morning, Steve. Congratulations on another year.
Thank you very much. I shared some of those pictures you were showing. The car's coming together pretty good, ain't it?
Yeah, it's all done paint-wise. We're in the process of painting the smart car now, so it looks the same. This is my first trip back. They told me to avoid the holiday traffic, so I think I managed to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
This first trip out since before Christmas. I hollered at Hot Rod and asked him if he was ready to go trucking. He met me at the top of the stairs. So I guess it's time to go to work.
Okay, back to the old grind.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to slow down and take it easy when you want, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, all we lack on the car now is the new set of headers. It's ready to go back to Alabama down there, get the motor and stuff put back in and be ready to go in March.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to call and congratulate you on another year.
Well, it's great to hear from you, Gary. And yeah, like I said, I shared on Facebook some of those photos of the car coming together, looking good. And let's hope for a good racing year 2022, right?
Yeah, we hope it's like last year was. Matter of fact, I got to go down to the other banquet this weekend. Yeah. Banquet's this coming Saturday down there just outside of Knoxville, so I'll go down to that and then come back, and then I'll be ready to go to work.
Ready to go to work. All right.
Pretty steady till it's. Yeah, listening to all the people shutting this down, shutting that down, making everybody get a shot. Just like OPEC, they want to control everything, and I guess it's that way. Their way of controlling everything, I reckon.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that's about all I got. I just wanted to say congratulations.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for checking in, Gary. And yeah, great to have you along for the ride. I guess, well, speaking of canceling this, canceling that, the COVID pandemic has claimed its first victim of the 2022 truck show season. The Midwest Truckers Association announcing the cancellation of the 61st annual MTA convention and the 2022 Midwest Truck and Trailer Show, which was slated for February 4th and 5th in Peoria, Illinois. With the sudden increase in cases and the concern for the health of our members and exhibitors, we have reluctantly made the decision to cancel the show for 2022, according to Don Schaefer, Executive Vice President of the Midwest Truckers Association. Our concern and those expressed by potential attendees and exhibitors means canceling the truck and trailer show is the right decision. We realize the difficulties in producing such an event are just being compounded due to the recent perfect storm of issues brought on by the Omicron COVID variant and its effect on staffing capabilities and obviously potential health problems for the most vulnerable. Yeah, we've seen the devastation this has caused even among some of our own members. So they've rescheduled. Next year's event has already been scheduled for February 3rd and 4th of 2023 in Peoria, Illinois, once again. Yeah, I was talking to Kyle earlier as we were kind of going through some of our technical issues, hoping we'd actually be able to have a show tonight because we came that close to maybe not being here live. We'd had to put a little Band-Aid on the internet linkage and hopefully get things put back together fully later on today. But yeah, we worked it out. But in our discussion, I was talking about Louisville. I said, You know what? I asked Chris about that when he was on the program last Friday morning, and he tends to feel, as if you weren't with us, he kind of thinks this Omicron is spreading so fast that we're going to see this big surge. And hopefully, as the case was in South Africa, where they had so many cases so quick and then a rapid drop-off in the number of cases. We can only hope, but I don't know what's going to happen for the Mid-America Truck Show. Now, again, that's not till the end of March, so we do have a little bit more wiggle room. I don't know how late they can continue, planning and making preparations before they can make that call to yay or nay, thumbs up, thumbs down. And I was also questioning, I said to you, what do you think? Are they going to mandate things like masks? Are they going to mandate the whole proof of vaccination? Which brought our conversation. Of course, he attended the SEMA show, and Chris was over at the Apex show in Las Vegas about a month ago. And supposedly, he said at the SEMA show, you were supposed to, masks were required, and I think you were supposed to show like proof of vaccination, but he said when they got there that, they weren't really enforcing anything. That may be different because the Consumer Electronics Show, which just occurred last week, if you weren't with us last evening, they mentioned that attendance was down like 75%. They had 170,000 attendees at the previous pre-COVID event back in 2019. Only 40,000 attendees for this year's Consumer Electronics Show. I mean, that's horrible. So for what it's worth, they were, by the way, at the Consumer Electronics Show, they were requiring proof of vaccination and whatnot. So I guess that just kind of right there in itself is proof in the pudding that if you're going to require those kind of things, a lot of people aren't going to show up, right? Okay, get back to your calls just ahead at 844-844-3388. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
You work hard. You deserve a seat that works just as hard as you do. The Bostrom T-Series seat has provided drivers with comfort for millions of miles over the past 3 decades. Each seat is built right here in the USA and has 4-position front cushion tilt and higher low-profile air suspension with Isolate. It's also equipped with many standard and optional comfort features, such as high and mid backrests, 9.4-inch 4-aft slide adjustment, adjustable armrests, and manual or dual air lumbar support systems to keep you comfortable throughout your ride. Build your T-Series seat today at BostromSeating.com and ensure your ultimate comfort for wherever the road takes you. Bostrom Seating, the ultimate comfort for the open road.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. When we put our foam in your walls, it's like putting a coat around your entire home. It keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. We're getting homes ready right now for winter, and we have $1,000 savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or USAinsulation.net.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day, she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. She wasn't even really sure where she was at.
It's important for you to talk to someone about it. I felt so much better after my son told me, Mom, we'll figure it out.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
Yeah, that was Gilligan's Dumbass of the Week nominee here. You can't make this stuff up. I guess this was, Houston, Texas? A Texas man arrested for driving with a lit barbecue pit in the bed of his truck that created a large fire. Of course, the man was intoxicated and in possession of cocaine, according to the constable. Deputies responding to reports of a truck on fire. Constable Mark Herman's office posted on Facebook, upon arrival, officials discovered what was in the bed of Jay Rojas' truck, a lit barbecue pit that was causing a large fire. Rojas displayed signs of intoxication. According to deputies, he did not pass the field sobriety test. He was also found to be in possession of cocaine, booked into the Harris County Jail, charged with driving while intoxicated and possession of a controlled substance. There you go. I guess, last I checked, if he had the barbecue lit and he was actually rolling down the road, something about when you fan the flames of a fire, they tend to grow rather significantly. Maybe that was the case. Well, would that be Big Sexy? Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. What's happening out there this morning?
Just driving down the road delivering these papers.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure I called in on your 1 year show. You got my email I sent you earlier?
Yes, I did. I'm trying to remember what that was. Trying to scroll back down here.
About the 18-year-old girl, I think it was. I think she was 18 that threw the baby.
Yes, in the dumpster.
In the dumpster?
Yes. A horrible story.
Yeah. Luckily, them people come along doing that dumpster diving and found it. And I think the woman kept it warm while a man called 911. Got, the EMS and all that out there to take care of it.
I guess the only thing that maybe saved it was the fact that it was in New Mexico. I guess maybe it wasn't freezing cold like it is so many places elsewhere around the country. But
yeah, and they found it like 6 hours after it was sold in there. So,
yes.
Did you go to the link on the story and it shows the video of her actually throwing it in there and then them finding it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you go to that link, I'll send you the story up there. When it plays, they'll where the news does the story, they'll show the video of her pulling up there and getting out of a white car, opening the back door and getting the bag, and throwing it in the dumpster, jumping back in the car and taking off. And then it was still daylight then. And then when it's dark, it shows the other vehicle pull up and they get out and start going through stuff in the dumpster. And then next thing you know, there's red lights and all that. And first responders there.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't think that'd qualify the dumbass. Maybe a lowlife or something like that,
Yeah, right. Hard to fathom.
But yeah, it's hard to think of anybody do that when there's places you could drop them off, no questions asked. The safe haven deals. Mm-hmm. So, but I just wanted to make sure I got in on the congratulating you on the first year, and hopefully we'll be doing this again next year at this time.
All right. I hope that's the case. Yes.
All right. You have a good one. I'll sit back and listen to the rest of the show.
All right. Copy the mail. Right? Who says that? It's 844-844-3388. Yeah, I'm looking at the story. It's an 18-year-old in New Mexico facing charges after police say she's admitted she put her newborn son in the garbage. Officers responded to reports of an infant in a dumpster about 8 o'clock last Friday. Through the investigation, police estimate the infant had been there for about 6 hours. But apparently a group of people discovered the baby boy about 7:45 p.m. when they were going through the trash looking for anything of value, and they heard cries that they thought at first maybe a cat or a dog in the dumpster. A woman removed the baby from a black bag and kept him held him to keep him warm until they called authorities. Obviously, emergency responders there within minutes, and rendering aid to the newborn, who was taken to the hospital for further treatment. Child was in stable condition, and they credit the people who alerted authorities to saving the infant's life. But then they went back to the surveillance video that appears to show the woman putting the baby in the trash. White car pulling up about 2 p.m. You see the woman get out of the car, open the back passenger door, grab a black bag, and toss it in the dumpster. Able to identify and track down the owner of the car in the video, went to her home where her parents said she was sleeping, but ultimately confessed to giving birth to the child at another location, then putting it in the dumpster. She told police she didn't know she was pregnant until January the 6th, when she started having abdominal pain and gave birth the next day. Pretty wild. Okay. Meanwhile, back to the phones we go, and I believe we got Pup on the line this morning. Hello, Pup. What's happening?
Oh, holding on to this old steering wheel. How you doing, Steve?
Ooh, hanging with him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I heard you. I heard you at the beginning of the show. Have you checked with your doctor on what to take for that?
Well, I mean, technically, when my daughter came down with it between Christmas and New Year, they didn't prescribe. They didn't give her anything. I had some neighbors that had it, that they gave a steroid, and I can't remember. I can't remember if it was a Z-Pack or some kind of antibiotic, but they didn't prescribe anything for my daughter.
Right. You guys should qualify for the monoclonals our age group does, but they told my wife to only take Tylenol, and for her slight cough that she had, this is kind of expensive cough medicine. It ain't the cheapest, but it's at Delsum.
Delsum, okay.
And Delsum cough medicine. That's what they told my wife to go on the next day. But I got a little interesting story about that. I called up there to the hospital, and they said, be at the emergency room at 7 a.m. in the morning. Okay, so we do that. We get up there. Lady takes her information and tells her, I'll sit down there in the waiting room. We might not be able to get you in because we've only got 7 rooms and 6 of them are full. All right. So next thing you know, an hour and 15 minutes later, she tells us, well, we've got this clinic just right down the road on the same property, and then you can go down there, get tested, and then get your monoclonal. Well, all right. But why did the lady tell us to go to the emergency room after that? I don't know. Well, she was never in the wooden doors or anything, and yesterday we got a thing from Cigna, our insurance group. They billed us $4,000 for not even going into the emergency room.
Really? You got in the waiting room, and I guess you gave them your insurance card and whatnot, and that's it?
Right. Right. Yep. That was it. That was completely it. Well, that's not even the best part of the story.
Wow.
This monoclonal stuff's supposed to be free. Well, on the way out the door, I didn't want to stay in there with all them sick people, but on the way out the door, the guy says, well, that'll be $900, but if you pay for it today, that'll be $720. She goes, well, I thought this was going to be free. He goes, oh, yeah, the medicine is free, but our that's what we charge.
Oh, we're going to charge you $750 to administer it, to put the IV in.
Right. Yep. That's all they had to do. So, but she's going to get on the phone tomorrow and figure out what's going on and figure out why in the world Parkview would have ever billed Cigna for not even getting any treatment or anything in that emergency room.
Yep.
I know you're coming up on a break, but I figured you'd find that interesting. But I'll bet you anything, if our insurance got billed I'll bet you anything the government got billed too. That's what they get for mixing politics and adding money, dollars to all of this.
No doubt.
But no, I wish Lisa's mom you the best, and you might check into that monoclonal because our age group does qualify for it if you show positive. You have to test positive. I don't know how yours does, but when I went in there with my wife for just a brief second, they said since you don't have any symptoms, if you would test negative, it'll cost you $120. But if you test positive, it'll be free.
Well, I mean, based on the fact that the mother-in-law tested positive, and my wife, Princess, told me the other day. She said, "If you get this, you'll know it's not it's not a typical cold. It's not, And I know what she's talking about. The headache and the body aches. It's just your muscles aching all over your body and thrills."
Yeah, I know. So just take care of yourself, and thanks, Chris, and thank you for all you've done. I've been out here for 33 years, and you guys have always helped me make it through the nights and stuff. So, other than that, wish you the best, big guy.
Thank you, Pup. Good to have you on board. And, thanks for listening in. It is 844-844-3388. News break time, the Steve Summers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio said he will not cooperate with the January 6th commission.
After being removed from the mostly partisan January 6th commission by Democrat Nancy Pelosi, Representative Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, said Sunday he will not cooperate with the January 6th Select Committee. Representative Scott Perry, the Republican from Pennsylvania, last month called the committee illegitimate. From the West Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Governor Gavin Newsom wants to make California the first state to cover all low-income state residents under its Medicaid plan, regardless of their immigration status. The state already covers younger and older low-income residents who are in the country illegally. Newsom wants state lawmakers to pick up the remainder. He also wants to help businesses and residents struggling from his coronavirus mandates. This is USA Radio News.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Summers.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. LaVon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3-quarter or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
After a long winter road trip, there's nothing like coming home to a warm, comfortable home. Hi, I'm Steve with USA Insulation. We appreciate our truckers and the long hours you're putting in to serve us all. Without you, we wouldn't even get the materials to insulate. So we want you to feel like a king when you get back. We put our foam in your walls. It's like putting a coat around your entire home. Keeps the cold air out and the warm air in. And with the rising energy costs, that's going to save you a bundle. We're getting homes ready for winter right now, and we have $1,000 of savings for everyone. But because we love our truckers, we're going to give you an additional $250 discount just for mentioning this show. So give us a call, 1-800-USA-FOAM. That's 1-800-USA-FOAM. or usainsulation.net. We're going to give you an additional $250 discount for mentioning the show. 1-800-USA-FOAM or usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. You climb into your diesel and it feels like you're sitting on an ice cube. Imagine how your engine feels after a frosty night. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. As the temperatures drop, water that is emulsified within your fuel is released, adding more water into your system. Frozen water in your fuel lines, filter, or bowl will simply slow the flow, or worse, stop the flow of fuel in your system. No fuel flow, no start. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. I have one question for you. Do you want to stop worrying about the IRS? If the answer is yes, then look no further. I've been around for years, I've helped countless people across the country, and my success rate speaks for itself. So now you know where to find good, honest help with your tax problems. What are you waiting for? If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed in years, call me now at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com for a free consultation and get your life back.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Keep the bugs off your glass and the Smokies off your ass. This is the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Yeah, so earlier we mentioned they're asking the question, is this too little, too late? With inflation surging, raging, some economists are warning that the Federal Reserve may have waited too long to reverse these ultra-low rate policies that could put the entire economy at a heightened risk. Inflation is going to come in at 7.1%, they say. Wednesday, the government's expected to report that consumer prices jumped 7.1% over the past 12 months, which would be the steepest increase again in decades. The Fed chair is sure to be grilled on the issue during the Senate hearing today, Tuesday, on his nomination for a second 4-year term. Inflation has become the most serious threat to the economy, a growing worry for the financial markets, and a major political problem for the Biden administration and the Democrats in Congress. Now, while Powell has many defenders who applaud their willingness to keep interest rates low to help reduce unemployment after the pandemic recession, the numbers, Friday's jobs report for December, obviously raised alarms. Another sharp drop in the unemployment rate, an unexpectedly large increase in hourly pay, but chronic labor shortages. Although lower joblessness and higher pay benefits workers, they can also fuel rising prices. The jobs report led many economists to forecast more interest rate hikes this year than they had previously predicted as the Fed scrambles to manage a shifting economy, rapidly shifting. Yeah, they're now widely expected to begin raising rates in March, action that would in turn raise borrowing costs for many customers and many businesses. But by waiting as long as they have, the Fed might eventually be forced to accelerate those rate increases, effectively pressing harder on the brakes for the economy. That could slow growth, disrupt financial markets, and possibly even cause a recession. Oh boy. Many past recessions have been caused by aggressive Fed rate hikes that were actually intended to combat or prevent inflation. But the Fed they've done a sudden about-face. That whole narrative going back, about a year ago, that all this, it's all transitory. It'll last a few months and it's going to go away. And then as it continued on and on to record levels, month after month after month, with no end in sight, suddenly coming to realize, I guess it's not transitory after all, huh? Good morning to Scarecrow. What's happening?
Well, man, let me tell you, Steve, this is a bit of a surprise. I really didn't think I was going to be able to participate in your anniversary program here. Remember last week, it was announced that half of that mega millions dollar Powerball was going to Wisconsin. And I think I maybe told you I might have a surprise for you there Friday night. Or Thursday night. Yeah, I anticipated announcing my retirement. Well, it didn't happen. Doggone, I'd been spending a couple, 3 nights wondering how I was gonna do to help fatten the economy up and whatnot. And I I even visited Marathon Motor Coach. I know they use the Prevost chassis, and if it's good enough for Moose, I think one of those would look good sitting in my shop too,
Mm-hmm.
But, the phrase, putting the cart before the horse, but come to find out, you actually have to buy a lottery ticket in order to participate in that particular drawing. And the ticket I was looking at was, I think, for the last Saturday drawing.
You're a week behind or a few days behind.
Oh yeah. So I'm continuing on as a steering wheel holder for now. I'll wait until that hot jacks back up there again. Then I'll start making my retirement plans again. Just a curiosity here. My youngest boy sent me a picture yesterday of a big lakes freighter that pulled into Milwaukee, yesterday or day before, to tie up for the rest of the winter now for repairs and maintenance and such. Now, this thing is a 1,000-footer, and has me wondering, started thinking about all that traffic jam they had out there off the California coast in Los Angeles and such. That's all but dried up, as far as the news goes and whatnot. Has anybody heard? Have they kind of caught up, with that? Everybody, all them ships waiting out there?
No, last I saw, I think they've made a little bit of progress, but there's still a whole bunch of ships waiting to be. For every ship they unload, there's another one that's kind of like pulling in to wait in line.
Well, yeah, that was. I suppose it's because the story grew old after a while, and eventually the public gets tired of the same old thing over and over. But yeah, it just totally gone away. On our end of things, we had Gilligan helping us out there and whatnot, and just to let him know, there's actually a sideboard to match that dining set that he procured for us. That's arriving this Thursday now. So we do. I thank him again for his services there and whatnot. And
okay.
If anybody's wondering why, I guess that's inside joke if nothing else. But so no, that was about it for now, Steve. I didn't figure you probably have too much trouble filling the airwaves on tonight's show and whatnot. But yeah, I was just curious about that mess out there, and yeah, that carrier that I mentioned in Milwaukee here now. That thing, I don't think they can even go out to make it out to the Atlantic. I think they're pretty much landlocked in the Great Lakes here and such way. But yeah, my kid, he kind of lives and breathes for anything mechanical. He's an engineer with Komatsu, and they're building a brand new factory right on the lakefront, and it's parked right out front his window there. So he's keeping full tabs on all that stuff. So with that, Steve, yes, congratulations on we're fully expecting to be participating in your second anniversary program then.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Well, thank you, Scarecrow, for being a participant, a listener to the program. Great to have you on board. And yeah, rolling up on 15 before the hour. And what else under the industry headlines? The Washington State Department of Transportation using a truck driver as an example of what can happen when you ignore the closed road signs. You think? Yeah, typically when they close the road, there's a reason for that. They took a truck driver to task after he drove past the closed road signs, only to get stuck on White Pass amid the winter weather conditions. To which they shared the photograph, and they say road closed signs apply to everyone. This is why on Thursday evening, this semi went through the road closure on White Pass and got stuck. Our crews had to rescue the occupants, take them to safety, and then later today, guide the truck down behind our blower. Our crews are working really hard to get things open. Things like this don't help, though. So please, if you see a road closed sign, don't ignore it. Yeah, it looks like he got stuck in several feet of snow, right? And let me see here. Next up, I think Buster checking in this morning. What's happening, Buster? Good to have you with us.
Well, Steve, I woke up about the time Philip was talking. And, one thing, Steve, this last year with you being back on the airways and all, but one habit I've started to use at the office with my UPS customers is calling them Bud.
Bud.
Yeah. Instead of sir, whatever, just some of my customers, especially when they're meeting on the side of the road to get their required signature stuff.
Sure.
But, Kevin, Philip's a pretty neat dude. Now I'm going to have to check the research on February and see about those rocket launches. See if he was on the weekend and I could drive down. It's like I said, it's a big rocket. It'd be a big show, especially if it's towards sunset or sunrise. So, I tell you, Steve, you've been a good egg trying to take care of yourself and fight a good fight like I am. And I've had all three of the viruses now. I had the third one over New Year's. A friend of mine, close friend, came up to see us at a little cabin up in Cosby and watched the Tennessee football game, and he had it from his son, and then I got it that very, because it's very contagious when this one and the achiness. And then when they got home, his wife got it because she was up there with us, and she got it full blown, really bad. Mm-hmm. So anyway, he came up. He's not feeling too hot, but he came up. My wife, we brought the zinc with us. I brought my Bragg's organic vinegar, and we had a hot tub, the koozie. We had to fill the water up inside the cabin there. So I just do what I do every morning. I warmed up that Bragg's organic in that glass jar, just where I can warm it, and then as I get out the bathtub with my Epsom salts, I pour it in my armpit. Because that Bragg's, that's the acid along with the foods I mentioned to you a few times. But you got to get that acid up, and then I like the elderberry lozenges, elderberry zinc lozenges.
Yeah.
And then Julie brought the NyQuil non-driving cold flu meds. So you got the green ones and you got the red ones.
Right.
And we did all that. We got through it. So you get on this, and if you can, get in a bathtub and soak in some vinegar and Epsom salts, man. I'm telling you, you can maintain your greatness. And by the way, well, one of my UPS drivers took the shots last year, and he got a booster Saturday, and he didn't respond to me. And he called me Sunday. He said, "Man, I'm sorry, man. I got wore out from that booster shot." Oh, and also there's a girl that worked with me for 27 years in the package division. She moved up to the feeder division, and she's very healthy, and she's part of the safety committee in the feeder department. Anyway, the security guard this morning told me, or last night, he said she took the shot because her mom and dad is up in years.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since she took the shot, she cannot stay well. And she's so frustrated. And, but I mean, this thing is, like I said, man, it's a protein thing. And it's messing people's immunity up that has good immunity. So I just hope Supreme Court works with this week and help us save it. Because I don't know what I'm going to do, because I've got great immunity. I can sense things with my 65 and 3 months old body. And I just know this ain't right to take and then seal the documents up for 50 years. Hell, this is like Kennedy's assassination with the Ward report.
Yeah.
Where that stuff's going to be unsealed when I'm in my 90s.
Yeah.
So, Steve,
75 years, not 50. They want 75 years. All right, Buster. Well, I'm glad you all pulled through safely. Have a good morning. Thanks for being a part of the show, and we'll be back in 2. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. As you fire up your diesel, you can see your breath on the inside of a cab. Imagine looking deep into your engine. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. On a 23-degree morning, the paraffin wax in your untreated fuel starts to morph from fluid to large crystals. These crystals clump together and form a gel. At minus 10 degrees, your fuel hits the point where it no longer pours like a liquid. It's so dense that the flow through the fuel filter will slow, causing hard starts or no starts. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3/4 or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for years he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
I got an email from the Dipsy driver out there. What do you say? Let's see. Wanted to wish you personally a very happy anniversary. Looking forward to another 25 years, right? Great to listen all these years. Like Heatwave said, once talking to you for the first time, it's very easy to talk to you again, like a good friend. I may venture out to the MATA show with my better half. Shake your hand. That would be the Mid-America Truck Show, right? the Matt's show. Shake your hand or maybe at least a fist bump. We need a road trip. All right, thank you much. Dipsy Driver, good to have you on board here. And let's get back to the calls. Who's next up here? There's Extreme Weather Chaser Propane 1. Yes, Horse Feathers, did you find the snow by chance?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You did?
Absolutely. You know, you have the request, and I'm like your Jim Cantori of the overnight drive here. So, but to clarify for Lester, the report was snow in Fryestown, Pennsylvania, which is east of Harrisburg. It's exit 10 off 78, and I went a little bit further east than that, out to Reading, and they had snow that had coverage on the ground there. They had a whole dusting across the highway and everything. So there was confirmed lake effect snow all the way to Reading, Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what that's going to do to the Reading Railroad schedule. So if anybody else got their chance card and they have to take a ride on the Reading, you can pass go, collect $200. But I'm not sure what the time schedule is there for the railroad at this point, But anyways, yeah, I wanted to call back in and clarify that. So checking in a little bit here with the Matt's program there for the overnight drive and Hot Shot Secret. Have you heard anything? They're going to have a little studio booth set up there to have a sing along with Horse Feathers, old time truck driving songs.
Oh my! I don't know about that, Horse Feathers. I mean, we might be able to have a little conversation with Horse Feathers, but yeah, the sing along. I mean, do you really want to punish people at a good time?
Oh, I heard something about there was going to be a whole corner on the booth there set up there for sing along with Horse Feathers there with old time truck driving songs.
Yeah, well, unless we get that enclosed booth, with the vacuum sealed, that might work.
All right. Well, maybe that could be the one with $100 bills floating around in it there.
Right.
Speaking of $100 bills, are you going to have? Do you think Dean Michael's going to be able to make it up there? Of course, it's kind of his busy time of year there, just before tax season comes to an end.
Yeah.
But he was always the man with $100 bills there in the pocket. But anyways, so no, I just wanted to call back in and clarify where exactly I was. I wasn't going anywhere near Pittsburgh, but I know it snows out there all the time. So that's why I was chasing this other report here to get to a confirmation there, and the exact eyes on the ground type confirmation. But anyways, hey, I guess with all that nonsense there, what do we say? Oh yeah, you can go back out and look for more intelligent callers there, right, Your Honor?
Yeah, we've been known to do that a time or two. Okay, well, thank you much, and well, be careful.
All right, very good then.
All right, Extreme Weather Storm Chaser Propane 1, who, by the way, is operating right now with no hours of service requirements because he's got an exemption. Hauling propane, natural gas, home heating oil. You've all got an exemption. I got time to squeeze one more in here before we get to the top of the hour news break here. Would that be... All right, wait a minute. Yeah, Lugnut Larry?
Hey, you know better than that, Mr. Clutter. This is Lugnut Louie saying good morning to you. Happy anniversary. We are so proud of you. You've done it. You've made it for 1 year, and we have fulfilled our prophecy. As your self-appointed executive producer, I told you from day one that I knew you could make it for 1 year, and you have held true to the prophecy. So congratulations, Mr. Pumpernickel. We're just so grateful for you and all that you do. For all the overnight listeners, thank you so much. What says you?
Well, I guess, how about pull out your crystal ball there, Lugnut, and how do things look for the year 2022 ahead?
I'm glad you asked, Mr. Hamburger, because what I'm seeing right now is continued success. In fact, I want to just lay something on you right now. We have gotten anywhere between 0 to 500,000 emails. I'll let that number just digest for a moment. 0 to 500,000 emails every single day, wanting more and more over the overnight drive with Mr. Pumpernickel Pumpernickel. So we are doing all that we can to get the word out that you're all over the airways, that you're nationwide, and soon you'll be going satellite. And we're just so delighted for you. And wait a second, you guys. I told you we're not going to do this. His name is not Mr. Clutter. His name is not Mr. Pumpernickel. His name is not Mr. Hamburger. Wait a second. I want to get into those too. Oh. Dimebag Diddy.
Dimebag there, hanging out with Lugnut.
Go ahead, it's Steve, I'm sorry. This is Fly Rod.
Hey, Fly Rod.
These guys are good guys. They're just confused. But they all three are just so grateful. I've told them over and over again. Look, I told you before, I'm not going to play this silly game with you anymore. Quit calling him these silly names and all the other callers that are in here. Their names, I don't know why you keep... Look, we told you before, Fly Rod, it's the kickbox kickster that keeps doing this. We can't divest what is wrong with a kickbox kickster when they can't print the names out right on the show sheet. So we just go with what we're seeing here. You give me this credit card number. That's what I want to do. Happy anniversary, Steve.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Lugnut Louie, Dimebag Denny, Fly Rod. 1 year and 1 hour yet to roll into a Tuesday morning as we make our way into the 11th day of January. Hope your New Year's off to a good start, right? It is the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hotshot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio said he will not cooperate with the January 6th commission.
After being removed from the mostly partisan January 6th commission by Democrat Nancy Pelosi, Representative Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, said Sunday he will not cooperate with the January 6th Select Committee. Representative Scott Perry, the Republican from Pennsylvania, last month called the committee illegitimate. From the West Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Governor Gavin Newsom wants to make California the first state to cover all low-income state residents under its Medicaid plan, regardless of their immigration status. The state already covers younger and older low-income residents who are in the country illegally. Newsom wants state lawmakers to pick up the remainder. He also wants to help businesses and residents struggling from his coronavirus mandates. This is USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Wayne Alaroot for Patriot Vpn. Patriot Vpn is a virtual private network service that uses military-grade encryption to protect your internet connection on all of your devices. With Patriot VPN, your data and internet privacy is secure anywhere in the world. Why do you need Patriot VPN? Cyber criminals, government, even your own internet service provider collect and use your private information without your knowledge. Examples in the news recently, remember all the companies that have been hacked? Cuba censored the internet to kill protests? Here in America, conservative groups are being actively targeted. Your personal information and internet history is being sold by your ISP. It's all happening every day, but not with Patriot VPN. With Patriot VPN, your internet activity and history is protected from prying eyes forever. Patriot VPN is a veteran-owned business right here in the USA. For business or your family, starting at only $6.95 a month, use code WAR and get 3 months free. With an annual subscription, it's all at PatriotVPN.com. That's PatriotVPN.com.
Some medical professionals are pushing back against pandemic statistics. Moving forward, some are arguing COVID-19 tracking must distinguish between those who are in the hospital because of COVID and those who are admitted for other reasons and then test positive. Dr. Ashish Jha with Brown University spoke to Newsmax.
In the hospital right now, I've been seeing patients all week and weekend, seeing a lot of people admitted because of COVID, and I'm seeing a lot of people admitted for other things like hip fracture or other stuff who incidentally happen to have COVID. And all those people are vaccinated and boosted. They just happen to also have been tested positive.
Many schools, like those in Chicago, are closed to in-person learning, but Dr. Jha said all schools should be open. In related news, Pfizer has announced it expects to have a vaccine that targets the Omicron variant as well as other COVID-19 variants ready in March. Omicron has been described as a more contagious but less severe variant. You're listening to USA Radio News.
The greatest radio shows of all time.
Frank Sinatra as Rocky Fortune.
Classic radio theater.
Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
The story of Dr. Kildare.
The Pepsodent Show, starring Bob Hope.
The greatest radio shows of all time, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. On this radio station or wherever podcasts are served, just by searching for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
A student aid lawsuit has been filed in court.
A number of major U.S. universities are being sued for alleged antitrust violations related to the way they work together to determine financial aid rewards for students. A lawsuit filed in Illinois federal court alleges the schools engaged in price fixing and unfairly limiting aid by using shared techniques to figure out applicants' financial need. Schools are allowed to collaborate on their formulas under federal law, but not if they consider an applicant's financial need. The lawsuit is seeking damages and a permanent end to the college's collaboration in figuring out financial need and awarding aid. Some of the 16 universities named in the suit as defendants are Yale, Northwestern, Duke, Notre Dame, and Columbia. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
U.S. doctors have transplanted a pig heart into a patient in a last-ditch effort to save his life. This procedure marks a first for medical science. Doctors at University of Maryland School of Medicine said Monday that 57-year-old David Bennett is doing well 3 days after surgery. The handyman had been too sick to receive a human heart. Prior to going into surgery, Bennett said, quote, "I want to live. I know it's a shot in the dark, but it's my last chance," unquote. For USA Radio News, I'm Katie Lewis.
It's coming. Crisp fall mornings turn bitter cold. As you fire up your diesel, you can see your breath on the inside of a cab. Imagine looking deep into your engine. Freezing temperatures impact your diesel's fluids, especially fuel. On a 23-degree morning, the paraffin wax in your untreated fuel starts to morph from fluid to large crystals. These crystals clump together and form a gel. At minus 10 degrees, your fuel hits the point where it no longer pours like a liquid. It's so dense that the flow through the fuel filter will slow, causing hard starts or no starts. Get prepared now for the cold that is coming. Hot Shot's Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel is a premium fuel additive that lowers your fuel's pour point to minus 65 degrees. If it's that cold out, you shouldn't be on the road. You ought to be at home in front of the fireplace. Hot Shot's Secret Diesel Winter Anti-Gel Premium Fuel Additive. Available now online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Final hour on a Tuesday morning as we celebrate 1 year of the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive. Yeah, thanks to Chris Gabrelchik, Hot Shot Secret, Lubrication Specialties Incorporated, Kyle and Josh who sat here with me throughout the first several nights. They were here for about the first full week of programming 1 year ago. Staying in town to make sure we got things up and running. Stellar job. Who would have ever thought? Yeah, getting it all together from scratch. And being able to do that between like November the 5th and January the 11th. Very busy time of year through the holidays and all that kept them very, very busy. Meanwhile, all right, let's get back to the calls here as our final hour is underway. There's Chefy Guy. I wondered where we'd hear from you this morning. Hey there.
Oh, I've been sitting back copying the mail. I mean, it's great. Everybody calling in. I mean, it's absolutely the way it should be. That cab of that brand new international truck sounds like it's awful crowded there with Dimebag, Fly Rod, the other fella. Wonder how many seats are sitting. They got that thing. Went to the VA yesterday, and of course, I got, because of COVID stuff, it got back knocked down. Had a guy commit suicide on one visit, so he got rescheduled on that one. I went into, this time I went in there, and the only thing they asked me to go, they went on this list, but they said, do you have the COVID shot? I said, no, sir. He said, do you plan on it? No, sir. They didn't give me an ounce of stress or pressure whether or not to take it or not. But I got to see my doctor, and she sat there, and she never one time asked me about it. So I did make mention that I don't plan on getting it. And what's your opinion? She just sat there, and I said, I've got dormant prostate cancer. I said, who knows if I get that shot, will that wake that up? I mean, everything I'm taking now, I did take the shingles shot because my sister had that, and I did that over a year ago. And I've been taking the flu shot, and I did say, I think the thing that has saved me through all this is I got sick in 2019. She knows about me not being able to smell or taste that well. But I said, before you have me, and I said, my lungs have been feeling strong. And she goes, yes. And I said, my biggest problem with all this is they're pushing this shot on us, but they do not openly tell us how many people have lost their lives. And you can get online and look it up. It's there. And she goes, yes, Mr. Burgessar, yes. Because she's from Yugoslavia. So, I guess, listen, they know what oppression looks like. They've been in, they're from their country. And I think the Democrats are going to be surprised. I really do. Michelle Obama and Newsbreak come on my phone. Michelle Obama is planning on registering 1 million
new voters, yes.
I just sort of wonder where we could come up with a brand new set of voters. 1 million, matter of fact, it's count. So, where have we heard where there's been 1 million new voters or new people come into the country?
I reckon we had about a million voting age people come across the border this year, with more than 2,500,000 coming in.
My goodness, there you go. So and then they're trying to make it so it started in New York where you don't have to be a citizen. So you know what a non-citizen's going to vote on. They're going to get their hands into your paycheck. So, and for the young man that said something about you don't hear much about the ports, reason why they don't talk about the ports anymore is because it was making Joe Biden look bad. Things, we're a ray, and it was coming back on him. And then he's telling, hey, you truck drivers, you can drive at night now. So I was wondering what that light switch was for. But anyway, we're just thankful that you've been here a year, and all the people that's on here, every single one of them. I just totally enjoy their calling. They're calling in and helping to keep me awake, and the friends we've made. And I'm going to sit back and Don Bagg predicted another good year. Well, they're going to have plenty of, as long as we got this president, this government, we're going to have plenty to talk about. So other than that, I'm going to sit back and copy the rest of the mail, and congratulations. And you and your family get better, by the way. And that's all I got. Over now.
All right, Chevy Guy, thank you much. Yeah, let's all get better. About 13 past the hour. And let's check in with Wheelchair Dave this morning. I'm glad you're feeling better. How's it going, Dave?
Hey there, Steve. Well, I'm doing better. The doctor's got that blood pressure stuff under control. That was pretty scary there for about 3 days, buddy. But calling in on your anniversary, Steve. I go back a long, long way with you, and I'm going to tell you I'm really, really proud of you, and I do think of you as a friend as well. So, but Nitro and Stormy could call in. They would be calling in tonight. There's no doubt about that as well.
Yep, you're right.
Yes, sir. Hey, FYI for you there, your wall clock up there in your studio, in your secret bunker.
Yeah, I think it needs a new battery.
It's so far off, it's ridiculous.
You can actually see what's it showing? It's showing about 12 minutes till 4 right now. It's a little off. I noticed that a couple of days ago. I got to get in. I think it's a AA battery. I got to get in there.
Yeah. But congratulations on your 1 year there, and I just wanted to get in and say hello to you and all that other stuff. And hey, by the way, did you check out the Chili Bowl at all? I know you get that flow racing, with you get a chance to check that out?
I have not tuned into any of that. No, sir.
Well, if you could give us the racing report, each day, each morning when you come on now for the next 6 days or whatever for that Chili Bowl.
Yeah.
That would be great because they're racing every night, and you got that flow, so you can give us up to date there, can't you?
I bet I can. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, I'm gonna get on, let other callers call in, and I'll call in another time. And I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you, Wheelchair Dave. Good to hear from you. And okay, what do we see here? I'm looking here, the highlights from Monday's action there at the Chili Bowl. I should be able to get all the details, right? There you go. So we'll get a quick time out and return in 2 here on a Tuesday morning. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. Are you one of those truck drivers that came home after a long haul and found the only thing waiting for you was a stack of IRS letters? Your significant other was gone, but your newfound IRS problem is still there. I've heard this story many times over the years. While I can't help you with your broken heart, I can fix your tax problems. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or haven't filed for many years, call me for a free consultation at 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. Like I always say, you keep your eyes on the road, I'll keep mine on the IRS.
145 over 92.
180 over 111.
I had a heart attack and a cardiac arrest and then a stroke.
Your blood pressure numbers could change your life. Lowering your high blood pressure could save you from a heart attack or stroke. If you've stopped your treatment plan, restart it or talk to your doctor about creating one that works better for you. Start taking the right steps at manageyourBP.org.
Now I'm, trying to get better, stronger than ever.
Brought to you by the American Heart Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems. For example,
stiction.
Found throughout the oil system, stiction is the sticky friction that negatively impacts your engine's ability to function at an optimal level. The molecular structure of oil is a hydrocarbon. The engine's extreme heat, tight tolerances, and high pressure cause the oil to break down and release hydrogen, leaving behind varnish, a carbon-based deposit. The varnish clings to the engine's moving parts, creating drag on the turbocharger, oil pump, and pistons. Symptoms of stiction include a rough idle and the loss of fuel economy and performance. Hot Shot Secret Stiction Eliminator delivers a 98% clean rating in third-party scrub tests. Its synthetic cleaner plus nano lubricant contains no harmful solvents and is formulated to be left in the engine to safely dissolve stiction for thousands of miles. It works as you drive.
Stiction Eliminator is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret. Powered by science.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
Who wanted asking about the whole supply chain debacle? Is that going on? Yeah, it's been here just a couple of weeks ago from CBS out of Miami. It says the supply chain nightmare continues to drag on. Experts are calling it the worst non-war related backup the world has ever seen. When COVID began, ports saw a significant decrease in trade. Now the massive surge coupled with the holiday season creating a bottleneck in the entire supply chain system. CBS News went to Port Everglades to find out more. It's one of the largest ports in the country, playing a major role in the ebb and flow of the supply chain. More than likely, if you consume anything at breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you're going to consume something that's been handled through Port Everglades, according to the director of the port. We're seeing a situation where the supply chain was not built and cannot keep up with the current problems that are occurring. Some of the products that are supposed to get into distribution centers aren't going to be on the shelves for another 6 to 8 months, he said. Well, this is back just a few days before Christmas. It all started in California. They saw 50% reductions in the amount of cargo flowing through their ports, a lull that was followed by unprecedented surge. That surge happened at the same time distribution centers and our retailers in the U.S. were beginning to bring on inventory for the holidays. Both of those situations would be enough to stress the chain, but when they happened simultaneously, it was indeed the perfect storm. A shortage of goods leading to an increase in demand, then inflation. We're paying more at the pump, we're paying more at the grocery. We need to be prepared that we might see higher prices for a long period of time. To stay ahead of the problem, he said, we're planning 10 to 20 years out at Port Everglades, spending nearly $500 million on equipment and infrastructure upgrades. Now, while Florida ports are still pretty much ahead of the game, working towards a solution, he said the critical problems, they're deep-rooted. It's going to take the help of the federal government. We have to do a better job integrating our transportation network, the road, the rails, the airports. If we don't do that, then we're looking at this type of situation that's going to go over and over and over again. It's not going away anytime soon. Experts are saying no, it'll probably be well into the new year here by the time we begin to see some relief. So, yeah, although we're not hearing much about it, right? It's just become kind of the silent news story, but the issues remain. There you go. All right, back to the phones we go here. Robert, I believe it is. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Steve. Good morning. Congratulations on your 1 year, and that time sure flies. That went by awful quickly.
It did, indeed. Yes, thank you.
I always kind of been a believer in everything happens for a reason, and what happened to you last year. At the end of where you were before, I sure appreciate and can listen a lot more often. My family appreciates it now because Dad doesn't have this AM radio in the certain spot in the kitchen window where the window frame and the reception is the best without listening to all the static and waking everybody up at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning just so I can listen to your program.
That's funny. That's great.
I did send you a kind of a lengthy email on ivermectin for lessening some of the symptoms in case you end up coming down with the virus. But it's a little lengthy. My girlfriend actually went to Tractor Supply and picked some up. It's and of course in the animal section there, and it's got a picture of a horse on it, and it's of course apple flavored, and it's the same stuff that you could, if you read the email I sent you, it's kind of like a paste, I guess.
Yummy.
Or like a toothpaste in a tube. And we haven't had to try it. It's still in the box.
Okay.
But if you read through that email, I know you've talked about it before about people using it and whatnot. And it's kind of funny. They had a sign right there on the shelf said not for human consumption.
Yeah.
You know, when you went to buy it. But anyway, the email kind of explains it's perfectly safe for us to use in the amount of dosage for your body weight and whatever. So, but at the end of the email, essentially there was a little bit of a comical home test remedy that involves beer. I kind of sent that to my buddies and got a good chuckle out of reading that one. But anyway, so stay warm and get caught up on your sleep, and hopefully you'll get through it.
I thank you very much, Robert. Are you a first-time caller, Robert?
Actually not. I ended up getting a different cell phone. I call in a few times before. I've been listening for a lot of years, but the number I used before was my work cell phone, and for some reason I decided I've always been able to use my work cell phone for personal use, and I guess I'm at a point in my life where I want to separate my personal life from my work life. All my contacts and stuff, you know, the doctor's office would call my work phone number, and I just got to a point where I thought I'm going to just go and get my own cell phone and just do it with separate work from my personal life a little bit. So
Gotcha.
All. So, all right, I'll let you go.
Thank you so much for listening in, and thank you for the email. And yeah, it's his home COVID test. Yeah, which you may have seen it before. Number one, you open a can of beer and try to smell it. If you can smell the beer, well, then you drink it to see if you can taste it. If you can taste it and smell it, that confirms you don't have COVID. Now, last night I did that test 19 times, and it was negative every time. Well, tonight I'm going to have to test again because I tell you, when I woke up in the morning, I had one hellacious headache, and I really do feel like I'm coming down with something. Ah, yes, indeed. 19. Oh, boy. Hello, Devious. What's happening?
What's happening? Congratulations, man. I'm probably a long-time listener of the show on the original network. Your father, I listened to him. I've been with this company 36 years. Just recently celebrated 36 years here, and I listened to your pops there back in the day, and we'd get up real early and deliver our groceries at some of the earlier stops, and I'd catch the tail end. I guess when you came on board, I'm not exactly sure when that transitioned, but I had a little conflict of interest where I would listen to the Rush Limbaugh replay and also the Art Bell show. So there was times that I might go a few months just listening to the Art Bell show, for instance, and not really listen to your program, but I'd switch back once in a while. But now, Rush is gone, Art Bell is gone, and there you are. You remain standing in my iPhone listening. And but really, I want to, I think this is a really great concept here. It's the way of the future. Radio kind of sucks anymore, and I'm probably one of the few people left standing that admires AM radio, to be quite honest. I've always liked AM radio, and I think you do a wonderful job. The studio looks fantastic. I'll second that again on the racing report. I really would like to get that little bit of info towards the evenings when I check in. And I forgot I had something else I wanted to say, but it's kind of slipped my mind. But just congratulations, Steve. You really do a great job, like I said, and I hope there's a few more years to come. At least I plan on working these wee hours of the morning a few more years, I hope. And, I know the COVID thing, I was telling you last week, I think I called in, my wife and stepdaughter had it, and I was around them a bit, but I ended up sleeping out in the camper for a couple of weeks, and I never did get it. I mean, I double masked with the KN95 mask. I started wearing them from the very get-go of this COVID thing, outbreak, whatever. I tried to take some vitamin C and vitamin D and everything else. What is some zinc and so forth. I followed that Dr. Campbell. I sure like him on YouTube. I don't know if you ever ran across him. He's a little balded, netted fella that's I'm not exactly sure what he is. It says he's Dr. Campbell, but I think he's a nurse practitioner or something.
Huh.
And I really have liked him from the very beginning, and he gives a little bit of a lowdown on COVID every day, and he's worth checking out.
Okay.
And I really like him, and don't listen to the news much. So I really don't. A lot of your, I don't always agree with you. I mean, but
sure.
I really like how a lot of the callers call in. I don't always agree with them, but you're always willing to give a caller, their say. And, I personally, I decipher what I want to believe or what I don't want to believe. But I haven't gotten that daggone dreadful COVID yet, nor do I want it.
Nope.
My brother's just getting over. He had it just for a couple of days, a touch he was really feeling terrible. And I talked to him yesterday. Compared to last week, it sounds like $1 million, Steve. So if you do get it, just take care of yourself and be mindful that it will soon go away. So,
as they say, this too shall pass. Well, that's what I hope. Yeah, I've got it. I got it. Waiting to see how bad it gets. That's all right. Let's see. Get a news break here. We'll return after this here on a Tuesday. Welcome in to the 11th day of January, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News.
Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio said he will not cooperate with the January 6th commission.
After being removed from the mostly partisan January 6th commission by Democrat Nancy Pelosi, Representative Jim Jordan, the Republican from Ohio, said Sunday he will not cooperate with the January 6th Select Committee. Representative Scott Perry, the Republican from Pennsylvania, last month called the committee illegitimate. From the West Coast USA Radio News Bureau, I'm Lance Pry.
Governor Gavin Newsom wants to make California the first state to cover all low-income state residents under its Medicaid plan, regardless of their immigration status. The state already covers younger and older low-income residents who are in the country illegally. Newsom wants state lawmakers to pick up the remainder. He also wants to help businesses and residents struggling from his coronavirus mandates. This is USA Radio News.
Do you have a home that you don't want anymore? We can buy it from you within 24 hours. Any home, size, or condition. For over 20 years, we've been buying homes for cash and helping homeowners sell their homes immediately, with no listings or strangers walking through your home. Are you moving? Did you lose your job? Going through a divorce? Whatever the reason, if you're in a bind and you know that you need to sell your house fast, call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. We'll make you a serious cash offer to buy your home in 24 hours and let you walk away from it. No listing, no waiting. Sell any home, any size, any condition, now. Call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. Make this free call now.
800-478-6084. 800-478-6084. 800-478-6084. That's 800-478-6084.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
The Hotshot Secret Facebook page gets a lot of robust Q&A about diesel problems and their solutions. We listen to our customers. Here are their words straight from their mouths about Hotshot Secret everyday diesel treatment. Our fans call it EDT.
I'm John Sharp, aka J Sharp from Newburgh, Pennsylvania. Using EDT, my local fuel mileage went to average of 22 to 23, and my highway MPG went to 26 to 28.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm from Arizona. I drive a 02 Ford Excursion. I use EDT at every fill-up, and my mileage went from 12.5 miles to gallon to 14 miles per gallon. I highly recommend it.
Everyday diesel treatment delivers a 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday diesel treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
How do you sleep on the road? After downtime, do you wake up well-rested and invigorated or tired, achy, and sore? Well, if it's the latter, you're not sleeping on the Big Rig Mattress. The Big Rig Mattress is a hybrid with an individually pocketed spring core that's engineered to deliver the best restorative sleep for your time on the road. Learn more about the Big Rig Mattress at thebigrigmattress.com or call 877-736-4233. The Big Rig Mattress, 100% made in the USA since 2009.
You work hard. You deserve a seat that works just as hard as you do. The Bostrom T-Series seat has provided drivers with comfort for millions of miles over the past 3 decades. Each seat is built right here in the USA and has 4-position front cushion tilt and higher low-profile air suspension with isolator. It's also equipped with many standard and optional comfort features, such as high and mid backrests, 9.4-inch fore-aft slide adjustment, adjustable armrests, and manual or dual air lumbar support systems to keep you comfortable throughout your ride. Build your T-Series seat today at BostromSeating.com and ensure your ultimate comfort for wherever the road takes you. Bostrom Seating, the ultimate comfort for the open road.
At Turbo 3000, our founder Andy Matouche firmly believed you should challenge yourself.
Put the most money back in your pocket where it belongs. Four Wheeler magazine took our challenge, and they wrote it did exactly what we said it would do.
As fuel prices keep going up, get your Turbo 3000 from manufacturer direct. Call us at 888-311-9993. Always free shipping in the USA, and for a limited time, save $45 off total purchase using coupon code STEVESAVES at turbo3000.com.
To some people, the sound of a baby babbling doesn't mean much. But that's not necessarily true. By 6 months, they're combining vowels and consonants. By 9 months, they're trying out different kinds of sounds. And by 12 months, their babbling is beginning to take on some meaning. Especially if there's no babbling at all. Little to no babbling by 12 months or later is just one of the possible signs of autism in children. Early screening and intervention can make a lifetime of difference and unlock a world of possibilities. Take the first step at autismspeaks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
All right, race fans, Chili Bowl. Underway, right? Here you go, Wheelchair Dave. Justin Grant, I don't recognize the name, established himself as the champion of champions Monday during the Vacuum Works Invitational Race of Champions, held off a ferocious charge from NASCAR Cup Series champion and 2-time Chili Bowl winner Kyle Larson in the closing laps to score his first career victory in the race. Grant, who won last year's Friday night preliminary feature, started from the pole after an 8-car invert and never relinquished the lead. But the path to victory lane was anything but easy. After starting fifth, Larson made his way to second just prior to the halfway mark of the 25-lap feature. Larson then threw the kitchen sink at Grant in the closing laps, but ultimately came up just short in a finish that had fans at the Tulsa Expo Center on the edge of their seats. Now, Grant said the final laps really weren't that much fun. I felt like we were taking on water fast there at the end. We were really, really good until about 8 to go. Then I lost my entry grip. So I started to search, try to figure out how to keep some speed going. We're gaining on it, and hopefully we'll have something for Kyle, Chris Bell, and these guys come Saturday. There you go. With that victory, Grant joins a list of former VROC winners that includes Christopher Bell, both 2020 and 21, Tanner Thompson, Chad Boat, Kyle Larson, Sammy Swindell. Driving a car he debuted at USAC's West Coast Swing back in November, Larson was pleased with the speed he found in his number one Flow Racing Midget. Looking back on the final laps, there was just one move he would have changed, he said. I had a good little thing working there for me. I pulled the trigger every corner, but I should have went back to the top in 3 or 4, coming to 2 to go, and I think I would have had a better run to make a move. But I'm happy with my car. It's night and day different from where it was earlier in the night, so we're here out on the West Coast. There you go. All right, so one night of racing in the books. Congratulations to Justin Grant. Meanwhile, back to the phones and the blind man. Hello, blind man.
Hey, Steve. Congratulations on being on the air again.
Yes, 1 year.
Boy, how time flies. Anyhow, I was listening to Sebastian Gorka yesterday. The caller called in and said that China is in lockdown again. They got another variant of the Wuhan flu. I'm trying to figure out if this is a true story. I haven't heard it anywhere else. Maybe you've heard something. And also, Biden is going down to Georgia today to talk about voting rights, and he wants the Senate to eliminate the filibuster so he can ram this so-called voting bill through.
I know that's what he wants to do, but based on Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, I don't think he's going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, I hope they stick to their guns. That's what worries me about Joe Manchin. So far, he's stood up, but you never know. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the two of them will not cave. And I was really ticked off with Karl Rove yesterday, saying that we have to be a better party. Well, I, along with a lot of other people, want Trump back in. I think right now we need someone that can, with business sense, and can get this country back on the road again, so to speak.
All righty. Well, as far as a new variant, I mean, I don't think I've touched on. A couple of days ago, I did have from Bloomberg over the weekend, I guess it was, a researcher in Cyprus said they've discovered a strain that actually combines the Delta and the Omicron variant. They're calling it Deltacron because of the Omicron-like genetic signatures. Okay, that's a different one. Okay.
Yeah, I heard about that one. Is it more? Is it stronger than what we got now? Omicron.
I mean, I don't think they've had time to even delve into that yet.
And I stopped calling it a vaccine a long time ago because, when you get your annual flu shot, we don't say it's a vaccination. you're hoping that the shot you get for the year will work on the flu that's out there now, because the flu changes from year to year, and looks like the China virus is going to change from year to year. We'll never get rid of this. And I know some of my neighbors now are starting to get fed up with everything, and I just smile at them and say, well, you voted for the guy. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah. Well, blind man, if I find anything more on that out of China, I will pass it on. I do know that, China is actually still, they say one of the only places in the world still, aiming to eliminate COVID within their borders. But they continue to deal with these, lockdown residents, a growing challenge facing a zero COVID policy. Mass testing, extensive quarantines, snap lockdowns, to try to stamp out any resurgence of the virus. But I think we know, and they should know by now, lockdowns have not worked anywhere. And it's really just futile. You're just really, as far as I'm concerned, you are prolonging the inevitable by keeping people constantly in lockdowns like they've done. But I digress. Let's head to the land down under, where someone said Australia is almost akin to the world's biggest prison right now. Are you under lockdown again, Sylvester?
No, nobody's on lockdown here, are they?
No? Okay. All right. I don't know. You see a post like that on social media, so I mean, it's gotta be true.
No, nobody. I don't think even Victoria's on lockdown.
Okay.
Because, in fact, someone on the YouTube that Susan's daughter just moved to Melbourne, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
2 days ago. So didn't have any problems getting through the barricades, I guess.
Okay.
But no. We're not on lockdown at all.
Well, that's good news then.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I think in Western Australia and maybe the Northern Territory, they've got some restrictions, but it's not like anything like it was.
Yeah.
And when they say restrictions, it's things like mask wearing and that kind of stuff. I really don't know about those. We live in New South Wales, which is by far the most populous state. I mean, but and we were actually on our honeymoon when you started the show back. It's so funny because we didn't have internet out there, and Susan's got her own private practice, and so she had to go into town basically every day to be able to check her email. It was so funny.
Well, I do see
that
you are constantly trying to spoil her with all kind of wonderful food items.
Yes. I can never do enough for how wonderful this woman is. And just, I have to tell you, man, I am so incredibly blessed with how wonderful, kind, loving, selfless Susan is. And I'm not just saying that because she's sitting here. I say, right. When she's not. But the main thing, man, welcome to the wonderful world of a successful, good, fantastic radio program. You've got 1 year down, man. And look, everybody that's listening, if you want to see year two, get out and buy the products that are advertised. That I say it every time. Buy the Hot Shot Secret. Call Dean Michael down there in Florida. He does more than just get you out of trouble with the IRS. Buy the other products that are advertised, because by doing that you enable this program to continue. Steve getting on here and talking about the weather doesn't pay the bills. That's the effect of the bills getting paid by the advertisers. You got to buy the advertisers' products, period. I'm limited to what I'm able to do. But Steve, as I told you, back in 2012, man. You're the legacy. Here, I support you 150%, and always will, man. And here's the 1 year. Salute. Lifting my ginger beer.
Salute.
And I salute, my friend. And look, keep it up. Chris, thank you so much for keeping the show on. Just one little thing before I go. There are a lot of things going on in the world, but the beautiful thing is that we can tune in at this time and listen to the truth, listen to reality, and listen to a metered and well thought out program. And as I said before, Steve, thank you so much for your program. Without being able to hear you, I'd probably be going crazy having to listen to all the mainstream media over here.
You're too
so much
kind.
appreciate it.
Too kind, Sylvester. Thank you very much. And congratulations on your anniversary there. Hello to Truck and Phil, Semper Fi. Morning, Steve Sommers and the Hot Shot Secret Overnight Drive Nation. Happy Taco Tuesday. Coffee's up. That's right. I forgot to mention happy anniversary. 1 year. Hot Shot Secret Steve Sommers and the Overnight Drive. Ready to head out to Sterling Heights, Michigan, flip back to Fort Wayne. Hey, only 348 days till Christmas. Glad you're on top of that. Truck and Phil, yeah, have a safe run this morning. Meanwhile, let me see here. I think somebody is that Gilligan? You got a road closure? What's going on?
Yeah, Steve, thanks for having me back. I know you're packed with calls, but I hate to interrupt them. We got a load closure on I-81 North at the exit 175, the routing you off. There's a vehicle fire between that and the 180. It'll take you right over to the top of the ramp, back a right, you immediately back a left on 11, and you get back going up at the 180. It's a pretty easy detour. I come through there about 45 minutes ago. There was no backup or anything, but I figure it's going to build as the morning goes on. I checked my map there a little bit ago, the traffic cameras, and the traffic past 175 is still at a standstill, so obviously they haven't opened up. And thank you for having me back, Steve.
All right,
Once
thank
again,
you.
happy anniversary.
Thank you. All right, let me jump over to Kentucky. Ken, hey there, Ken. How are we doing this morning?
Oh, good. On my way to Wisconsin, but I had to get up a little bit early this morning to wish you a happy anniversary, and I have the sentiments of, well, everybody else. It's just a great program, and we appreciate you, and I know it's getting late in the day for you, and just wanted to congratulate you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Hey, and we've seen a lot of change for you, going from law enforcement back to a truck driving career in the past year, and it's great to have you with us still, Kentucky Ken.
Well, thank you so much. I really do enjoy it. I truly do. I still miss the camaraderie and everything that went on with that for 33 years, but it was a good change. It was time, and I'm serving in a different way now. That's all there is to it. So we're all good. But thank you so much.
You got it. All right. Be safe out there. Thank you much. Hey, somebody lost their signal and they're trying to call back, but I'm not seeing a name. Who we got?
Captain Ron.
Captain Ron. Well, hey there.
Say happy anniversary. Like to say happy anniversary and thank you for this format. I've met people and talked to people through here that I wouldn't have met through your other formats. So thank you for that. I hope you and your family aren't down with us too long. Did you hear the breaking news that I mentioned? I've got breaking news on Betty White's family. Have you heard this? Heard anything?
I don't know. What'd you hear?
It appears that they are filing lawsuit on her caregivers. It looks like they didn't even attempt to give her a Snickers.
All right. Thank you, Captain Ron. There you go. I thought it was going to be the conspiracy theory that she had taken her booster shot 3 days before passing, but I think they pretty much put the kibosh on that particular story. Hey, is Chris on the line here quickly? Morning, Chris.
Morning, Steve. Somebody else will celebrate your anniversary with a bonfire on 65 about the 181 northbound in Indiana. But I passed out about 30 minutes ago, and the fire department was just getting there. This guy got out from under his trailer, luckily, but that trailer was melting down. But I just wanted to congratulate you and thank Chris for putting you on. It really is a good program. I've enjoyed it for many years. So that's all I've got, Steve.
Thank you so much for the update there, Chris. Appreciate you being with us. Be safe out there. I think we're going to get one more before we wrap it up on our 1-year anniversary. Rooster, what's happening?
Morning, Steve. Just want to tell you happy anniversary, buddy. Sorry you feeling bad this morning.
Yeah, thank you. It's like a headache from hell. That's what I would have to describe it as. Bad headache.
Yes, sir. That's how mine started there. I got, like I was telling you a week or two ago, I got mine at the end of 2020 in December, and that's how to start up. But just get you some rest, man, and just stay plenty of foods. You'll feel like crap for a couple of days, but you'll be all right. Anyway, happy anniversary to you, buddy, and we'll holler at you later on this week.
All right. Thank you very much for being with us, Rooster. All right. With that, hey, looky there. 1 year in the books. We will close it out there on a Tuesday morning. So, yeah, hopefully I won't feel any worse tonight than I did this morning. Like when we come back at the midnight hour, Lordy, it's odd. It's not really the congestion, the runny nose, the whole, typical cold symptoms. I did start coming down with like the lymph nodes, feeling like they were swollen a little bit, but that's not like your typical, sore throat when you swallow. I know the lymph nodes are probably trying to suck up, the toxins, the poison. That's what they're there for. But yeah, headache, muscle aches. Hope that's as bad as it gets. I'll be doing my little tablespoon every couple of hours of Chris Gabrelchik's recommendation, which I did whip up a batch of that Friday morning. So we shall see. Hey, be safe out there. Have a great day. Hope you'll come back and join us once again tonight. We'll do it all over again as we get another year underway from the Hotshot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Never guess the places that I've been. You never guess the places that I've been. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. I'm never gonna let the day begin. Never gonna let the day begin. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but only in that dream that I live in. Oh, don't wake me up before you go, and I'll just make this bed my home. Oh, darling, please just let me sleep. Give me my dreams. ones I love. Never gonna lose the ones I love. 'Cause everything is like a dream, yeah, but